Hello everyone, Lights and Gear is here with a new review, and I have something very unique, perhaps one of the most unique products that I've talked about in a long time. As you can see right now, the name Wuben is in front of you, W-U-B-E-N. We have talked about and reviewed their flashlights in the past, and right now they've got a product, at least at the time of this video, which is relatively new. This is the multifunctional and multi-directional penlight flashlight from Wuben. So let me expand the view here a little bit, and this is the box, which is mostly black and has some blue here on the bottom. This is actually an outer sleeve, if you will. Now the name Gecko is right over here, which is a little hard to read right there, and down here it says multifunctional penlight. And it may seem rather odd that a pen light would come in such a large box. But let me pull the sleeve here and reveal the name, which is a little easier to read now. And it's a bright blue box. And this is very unique packaging as well. It comes open at the fold here. And voila, there you have the whole package. Right here in front of you is the penlight flashlight. It's just over 5 inches long, and in all these other sections here are the various pieces of equipment that you need to use to operate the light. Right here in this flat section is the user manual, and it pretty well describes in several languages how to operate the light and the portion of it to which you actually use as a pen. So we'll get to some of that here as we go along. A couple of things that I will point out right away are the parameters of the flashlight part of it, and it has 3 modes: high, medium, and low. And high will run 130 lumens. It says for 1 minute, at which time it kicks down to 40 lumens and will run an additional 45 minutes at that point. But I've run it past the minute, 2-minute mark, whatever, and I don't even see any noticeable decrease in output. So I'm not gonna say that what they're saying here is not correct, but I don't see any I don't see much of any drop in output at that point. So anyway, medium is 30 lumens, low is 3 lumens, and it also has a red and blue flashing beacon light, which comes out as actually 10 lumens. And its beam distance is 8 meters, and it's impact resistant to 1 meter. So let's just look at the packaging here a little closer. So in this little section right here, you have a USB charger, because it is USB rechargeable. This is not a C, it's a standard plug, as you can see right there, but that's okay. So that's the charging part of it. And in this little box here are the accessories for the pen portion of it. And I will explain those as we get a little further on as well. These are wrapped up in a little baggie, and the pen portion is unique in itself as well. So of course you can use it as a ballpoint pen, and you can also use it as a computer stylus, you know, for a smartphone, tablet, whatever, since it has the soft end here, like that. And it also has what they call a forever pen, which does not have ink, and I'll demonstrate that to you as well. This is the forever pen, or this is the forever tip, I suppose you could say. This one here is for breaking glass, and they actually call this a zirconium glass breaker. And then you have the extra inks that operate the pen portion. Now, as you can see, there's not a lot of ink in here, and I have no idea how long these will actually last. I've only used the pen portion briefly, but if you don't use it that often for the pen, obviously these are going to last a lot longer, but at least they give you four spares. Here is the unit itself. It's rather attractive, and it is quite unique. If you were to show it to anybody offhand, I think they'd say, "What the heck is that?" But if they can see the point, at least right away, they can assume that it's some kind of a pen, perhaps. Now, this right now has the actual pen portion of it already in here, and to change them, you simply unscrew the end like that. So here's one of the ink portions, which is already in here, of course, and you kind of have to slip it through like that, and then place it back in and twist it, tighten it on. Let me get a piece of paper here. This is just a standard fine point black ink pen, so there's nothing too amazing here, and it writes like any standard black point pen you would assume would write. So anyway, Gecko E61. Oh, there we go. Sorry about the crazy handwriting. But anyway, there's your standard pen portion. The whole unit here of the pen rotates around because you can also put one of the other heads on the opposite end. Right now there's nothing in there. So to change the head point, you have to hold it like this and pull it so it clicks. And then you can rotate this around and then put something else in the other end. So let's take this is what they call the Forever pen. So I'll screw this one on at this end. And this is the Forever pen. I personally have never heard of a Forever pen. Now to lock this back, you just pull it back down. So here's the Forever pen, and let me show you that one, which is very interesting. It's not very easy to write with. It kind of sticks, but it does actually write. But what you write has to be very, you just have to be very slow in what you write, or it's kind of hard to write. But there you go. It writes almost like a regular pen, and it kind of has the look of a pencil, almost, of a lead pencil in a way. But it writes, and it never needs ink, and it will always write just like that. So I think that's very cool. So if you eventually run out of the ink portions, at least you have this portion. So anyway, this rotates around, and I personally like the stylus part of it, of course, to use on the tablet and so forth. Alright, so to the rest of the unit, what else have you got here? Well, this is the switch, which turns the lights on and off, and there are the lights. There are 5 of them, as you can see, and 3 of them are the white LEDs, and 2 of them are the red and blue beacon flashers. And to turn the light on, you just give it a single click. When you first get it, by the way, there's a sticker on it, a blue sticker, which says you have to click it 4 times in order to get it to turn on. And it has a locking and unlocking feature on it. And to lock the light, you click it 4 times. So when you get it, it's already locked, so you have to click it 4 times to unlock it. Once it's unlocked, you just give it a press. So here's your press, and here's your light. And right now I think this is in high mode. If I press and hold, it'll sequence. Oh no, that was medium. So there's low, medium, high, and it just keeps sequencing continuously until you let the button, release the button. Now you also have the red and blue flashers, and to get to those you double click, and you can do that whether it's on or off. And this is like a flashing police car. Obviously this would only be useful, I guess, in an emergency situation, and that's that would be the purpose of it, is to try to signal someone that you are in SOS distress or something in that regard. It doesn't have an SOS mode on it. It just has these flashing beacon lights. And as you can perhaps see, it kind of flashes single blue and then single red, and then it flashes both of them together. And that's pretty cool. And then you can get back to the regular light mode just by pressing and holding. Or if you want to turn it off, turn it off. Now there's mode memory, and mode memory will even remember the flashing lights. So if you have these on and then just click once to turn it off and then turn it back on again, you'll still be in the flashing modes. So mode memory will remember those, as well as the regular white lights. The other thing it does, which I haven't shown you yet, well, first of all, this is a magnet. This portion right here in the center is magnetized, so anything you have that's metal will stick to that. I have a tack, and that sticks to it. So this is a pretty strong magnet, by the way. So it'll stick obviously to anything that's metal, and you can use the light that way. And what it also does is the handle opens up like this, and you can use the light in this fashion if you need to. So you can turn it on like this, and you can stick it to something. You can turn the light all the way around if need be. So this moves in any direction like this. It's about 70 degrees or thereabouts that it moves around to. And then of course the other way is to just fold it back in and use it that way. So this moves around and gives you light in any one of those different positions. So as I mentioned a few minutes ago, it is USB rechargeable, and to access that you have to have the light portion of it opened here, and the USB connector is right there on the end. So I'll take a standard USB plug here, connector, and put that in. And as soon as I do so, you will get a little light under the W there, under the switch. And a little hard to see depending on your angle, but as soon as you plug it in, it's red, and it'll charge. It doesn't take all that long, but it'll charge up, and then as soon as it's finished, this will turn to a solid blue. So you have red when it's charging and blue when it's all charged up. And you can just leave it sitting around with it plugged in. You can actually operate it, of course, too, while it's charging. But that's the USB charging feature of it. I'll shine the light over here so you get an idea of what that looks like. Let me turn this on. There's high. So this is obviously pretty bright up close, and even shining over here, you can get an idea of the brightness there. Let me show you a couple of brief pictures that I took outside. Also, the switch doubles as a power indicator. So as soon as you turn the light on, you'll have the switch show up in blue, and or red, depending on what the power is. Now when I turned it on right there a second ago, it was solid. Oh, now it's flashing. If it's below 90% power, it flashes for 5 seconds and then stops. If it's like really charged up, as soon as you turn it on, it'll be a solid blue, which will just be on for a few seconds and then turn off. And if it's below like 30-20% charge, something like that, it'll be in red as soon as you turn it on, and then if it's really low, it'll flash in red. So there's your power indicator as to the status of the battery at any given time. Alright, so that is the Gecko E61 from Wuben, a very unique item. And if you're looking for something in a pen, which obviously subs as a flashlight and or an emergency signaling device, and can attach itself to metal surfaces, and can be used as different kinds of pens, if you will, styluses, glass breaker, etc., etc., the Wuben E61 is something which I think you should look into. And if you click on the link, which I have in the description here, you can pick one up certainly on Amazon Prime as one place to get it, or you can pick it up from the Wuben site directly. And you can also take a look at my written review at lightsandgear.com and read about it more in depth there. But I think it's pretty cool. It may have some limitations in its writing ability once those little ink refills have depleted themselves, but of course you can use the forever pen part of it. It's just not, it just doesn't write as easily with that tip as it does with the standard pen, of course. But you know, but it's a conversation piece. It's a signaling device. It's a flashlight. It's has several different uses, obviously. So I think it's pretty cool. The Gecko E61 from Wuben. Check it out. Check out more at lightsandgear.com, where I have flashlights, batteries, and chargers, and so forth. Leave any questions or comments you might have below. Like my page, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one. Take care. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Until then, bye-bye.